welcome to the stream, sir.
Thank you. How are you tonight?
I'm good. A little sad that I jinxed the whole thing by saying Hughes is greater than McCarr, but I will accept the blame for that.
You blew it.
Get Adam Sandler out here. I need him to yell at me. I guess we'll start where we always do, the ups and downs. What are you thinking so far?
Penalty kill looks pretty good.
Yep.
Which is nice. Good solid D on the penalty kill against a pretty lethal Colorado Avalanche attack. Colorado had us on our heels there pretty much until the Hedl drew that power play. Because they just about had us down 1-0 there on the odd man rush with McKinnon across to Nietzsche's. Rang one off the post there. Myers can't be reading that play that way. Got to do a better job, especially against Colorado. Their speed will burn you, so you got to be absolutely sure if you're going to pinch. Power play struggles again with zone entry. We can't carry the puck properly, and so we did well in the face-off, 75-25%. However, the 25% that we lost were all the important ones, like the two on the offensive power play setups, and then the two on the defensive penalty kill, losing those draws as well. So we need to do a better job of winning the important face-offs. It's well and good to win the other ones, but if your penalty or your power play relies heavily on winning that first face-off and being set up in the zone, then we need to find a different way to rush the puck in. Something I'm going to be keeping a close eye on is Hedl already is starting to come in, hit the brakes at the hash marks, and look towards the blue line with the puck. Not something we saw in game one, but something I've already seen a couple times here tonight. And you know what I've been preaching on about for the last couple months. There is a reason why our offensive talented players, their production continues to struggle. And I don't think it's just because of bad luck and injuries. I think there is some system issues here that we will be able to more evidently point out when we see some patterns and trends start to emerge with the new guys, Hedl and O'Connor.
Yeah. I am liking Hedl's game so far tonight. Obviously, drawing the penalty, moving well, skating the puck, good hands. I'm really liking his hands, and he's just quick, right? You can see that. Like you said last game, what'd you say? Top 90% in the whole league, right? 90th percentile. So he's showing it right now, and they really gotta, like you said, we're keeping an eye on it. But I really want to see them let him do his thing, because he can drive the play down and then look to the middle, and hopefully that can create some chaos. But we'll see what happens tonight.
And same with O'Connor. A graphic came out last game, or I think it was yesterday, after last game, about their speed, and they're already the top two for top speed reached by a Canuck this season. And both of them are 1 and 2 already after one game played for the Canucks. So something we struggled with early on was speed, and that's why our rush was so difficult to find consistency. So we will have to keep an eye on, and hopefully they'll be allowed to do their thing and get the rush going. The strategy is probably to be a little bit cautious against this Colorado team, because they can turn it back on you so quickly with their speed and skill. So likely, I mean, a good period, down 0-0, two well-matched teams. Colorado had the better chances that game, but or that period, but I would expect a little more jump out of our guys here. Early power play coming into the second. Maybe they can get in quick and get up to a lead here, and then get the nerves out a little bit. Playing with these new guys, obviously this is just game 2, and it's still going to take a little bit of time to mesh and find that groove. But lots of good things in that first period with speed and that. But I would like to see a little more getting to the middle, which has been what has made us successful in the last few games.
I think what I've been seeing is they're kind of halfway there with getting to the middle, where I think they're getting the puck there. and they're getting it to a player, but it's all about, I feel like a lot of the pucks are going into feet, maybe just like slightly behind a guy. So I feel like they're getting close, and I'm liking that they're moving in that proper direction. The other thing I like to see today so far is they have 6 block shots. Colorado only has 1 block shot, so that's another up, I would say, for the Canucks. And then the
For
final up
sure.
for me is the lineup, just in general. Obviously Hughes coming out, but addition by subtraction, because Noah Juleson got pulled out of the lineup, which is great to see, because I'm right when your backup goalie has more
Praise
points,
be.
right?
Praise be.
So I mean, overall, we'll take the first period as an up. That, like you said, the Canucks have another minute 8 seconds in the second period to try and get something on that power play. So it'll be a good way, at least, even to start the period with a little bit of momentum, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's move on to the other talking points. Hughes, Four Nations, obviously not playing tonight, didn't play last game. And then even the comment by Talkit after the last game, and they essentially said that Quinn Hughes wanted to play, and they essentially told him no. So
Yeah.
are we starting to talk about maybe the Canucks talking to Quinn Hughes and be like, listen, it's time to make a decision. We need you to pull out of the Four Nations Cup because you're dealing with something, and there's no point wasting your talents and your injuries on, kind of a flighty international tournament.
Yeah, no, I hear exactly where you're coming from, and as a fan, that's what you would want, right? Of course, I want him to take time off and rest. Um, but I can also understand his desire to play with his brother, and he won't be logging the minutes that he does in Vancouver. You know, Team USA has 6 number 1 defensemen going. It's not like he's going to have to do everything like he does here. So
Right.
it will kind of be like a break for him in the sense that he'll still be kind of maintaining his stamina and getting skating in and kind of almost game time practice. However, if it's something that could get aggravated more or could cause a season ending injury, yes, absolutely. The team needs to step in and say, no, like, we cannot have you go to this. But his agent, JP Barry, was on Donnie and Dolly yesterday, and he did say that Hughes is only banged up. It's very minor stuff, bumps and bruises. However, it's just cautionary to keep him out of the lineup right now. He hasn't said that he wants to miss the Four Nations or anything like that. And I mean, this morning he did try and go out for the morning skate. He took a couple of good hard laps or a couple of good hard cuts, but then was right back to the trainer. Sat on the bench for a few minutes and had to wait for Talkit, who I think then shut him down again. But I can imagine he wanted to go again tonight if he wanted to go last game. And so we'll see if he gets in. If he doesn't play any games before the Four Nations break, I would imagine he doesn't go and play in the tournament.
Yeah, because we're all worried, obviously, about the brace that he has on his hand that we've all seen. But I guess he's right now, the main thing he's dealing with is some kind of lower body thing. And if it's just bumps and bruises, it is what it is. You can get some pretty nasty bruises being a defenseman. So I'm hoping it's just something like that. And maybe with what happened with Brock Besser last year with his blood clots, maybe they're just looking to be extra cautious with him.
For sure. And we know that the wrist thing isn't as serious. He's been able to play through it and perform extremely well. So this lower body injury, whatever's hindering him right now, obviously we would love for him to take some time and relax and get a break and come back healthy on the other side of this Four Nations tournament.
We'll wait and see what happens. Soucy back in the lineup, but also rumored to be on the trading block now. Do you think there's a market? Is there a team that would like his services, or is this just kind of like, the pipe dreams of a Canucks organization that don't want to deal with him anymore?
Oh man, this is why we work so well together, Russ. So, he has a full no trade clause. So in order to entice teams to kind of call the Canucks, they have to kind of put it out there that he's available.
Mm-hmm.
So this is probably exactly that strategy to find teams that need his services. It's a little tough to shop him with his inconsistent play that he's brought this season. He's struggled. We all know that. All know that he has struggled to find a good, solid defensive game this year. So this way, teams can come to the Canucks and say, "Hey, we hear that Soucy is available. We need some help on defense. What are you looking to get for him?" And then once they have a few teams with interest, they can then go to Soucy and say, "Hey, you know, we're probably gonna scratch you here with the young guys we got coming up and playing well. Like, can we work something out to find you a new start or something like that?" And then at least they have some options for him. This is a little different situation than the Miller thing, right? So with his no trade, if they can come to him and say, "Hey, look, this is where you're gonna play," um, then maybe they can get something done and get some sort of asset for him, especially now that he keeps falling further and further down the depth chart with the emergence of DPD and the trade for Marcus Pettersson. That left side is going to be tough to crack, and the right side is getting stronger as well with Mancini and that. So we'll see what happens, but I can't say that I'm surprised given his struggles this season.
I mean, that's kind of been his career profile is inconsistent. And I mean, we saw the good side of that last year, and now we're kind of seeing the bad side of that this year. But I would say for tonight, I haven't really noticed him, and that's probably a good thing.
Well, and he is playing the third pairing minutes,
Yeah.
so those guys are going to be played the fewest minutes of the defensive pairs. So we'll see how him and DPD get out there in the next couple periods here, because I'd like to see DPD get more ice time, um, and help him improve and blossom, because he's shown some really good things so far. But we'll see how Talkett feels going forward with the rest of the game.
It's not a talking point, but KJ Brazy says, Dusty, you're my boy, Blue.
You're my boy.
So the next thing I wanted to talk about, obviously, JT Miller is not on the team anymore. We have Hedel right now as our second center, which is fine, but obviously I don't think he's quite there to be a second line center right now. So I asked you to kind of have a look in your crystal ball, look at some of the teams, and maybe come up with some examples of who you think the Canucks might want to target as a second line center before the trade deadline.
A few interesting ideas out there. Um, Before he left, now is out with injury indefinitely. I was thinking Matthew Barzal from the New York Islanders, bringing him back to British Columbia in a potential package with maybe Noah Dobson on their blue line, or someone else from their blue line for some prospects and that. It then also I thought about Josh Norris in Ottawa, whose name has started to appear online. I've really liked his game all season. He's quietly put up some really strong numbers in Ottawa. I think he is up to 19 goals in 50 games played now, and 30 points, and really good on special teams. I think he has three shorthanded goals this season already. So can score in any situation. He is also Quinn Hughes' best friend, so would be an immediate fit in the locker room. Would flourish right away, feel comfortable with the team, and get to know everyone really well, and would basically be told everything about him before he shows up. So that would be a good asset to target. Another one I thought would maybe be interesting, just given where the standings are kind of starting to fall and where the chips are dropping now. There's more and more teams kind of emerging as potential sellers at the deadline. Uh, um, it's always hard to make in division trades, but an interesting target I kind of thought maybe was Jared McCann going full circle and coming back to Vancouver. Um, as Seattle starts to slip further out of the wild card picture, they may be looking to move some of their older guys that they picked up in the expansion draft and start picking up some younger assets or prospects. So maybe there could be some sort of deal done there. Also factoring in the future considerations that we still have in the back pocket from the Daniel Sprong trade. this could be an opportunity to maybe pull someone like that back off of their team, who is the majority of the time played as a winger, but that's just maybe kind of Seattle's depth. He would probably play more as a center here. Then you have kind of someone interchangeable with Hedel as well. If Hedel's playing better, McCann can go down because he can play up and down the lineup. So that's someone who I think is kind of my guy that no one really will talk about, but I think would be an interesting target for the Canucks to kind of think about.
I'm going to throw one at you that I was kind of thinking about. Do you think there's any chance?
Hit me, baby.
Yeah. Any chance that you think the Penguins are going to move Malkin before the deadline? And would he be a good one? Because obviously a bit older, but I mean, he won the Conn Smythe.
You'd never say no to a guy like that. But then again, his health is always questionable after a season of work now. He tends to fight injury late in the season. And then going into the playoffs, you may not get him at his 100%. It's hard to say how deep the Penguins go with their so-called fire sale that Dubas has proclaimed.
Yeah.
They are still kind of clinging to the playoff picture. So to sell off all of their assets right now, I don't see happening. But, I'd never say no to any one of the centers on Pittsburgh coming over. So, I do inexplicable things to see Sidney Crosby in a Canucks jersey.
We'll save that for our OnlyFans page.
Yeah.
Awesome. There is nothing to talk about with the Abby Canucks because they haven't played yet, other than was Ty Mueller ended up replacing DPD, I think it was, who went to the AHL All-Star game, right?
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, exactly. Like you said, not much to report. Looked like he had a fun time down there. He picked up an assist in the third game they played, but they did drop 2 of the 3 games they played, so didn't make the final game after the round robin. And the rest of Abbotsford and Mueller will be back in action Friday and Saturday night in Colorado against the Eagles. Both games are scheduled for 6:05 Pacific times start times.
Perfect. Awesome, Dustin. Thanks for all the info, and we'll talk to you in the post-game show.
Sounds great.
Nothing is perfect.